That's amazing. That's amazing. Moving on to some current MMA, Chris. Islam Makhachev's dominance. How do you see Islam's style versus past champs like Georges St-Pierre at your time?
I mean, it's pretty similar actually. I think St-Pierre was a little more fluid on his feet, but he was just dominant with pressure and taking people down. I think Islam's a little bit better at when he does get people down. I think he's a little more. He looks to finish a little bit more, and um, I don't know. He's a tough guy to deal with. Those guys from that Dagestan region are over in that area, man. They're just a different animal there. It's always funny. I remember back in like the year 1998 or 1999, I was watching like Mark Kerr and Mark Coleman fight, and I remember I said to a friend, I said, "Who's ever gonna beat these guys? They're unstoppable." You know, man, it's so funny because then people learn how to deal with these wrestlers who like because the first it was the jiu-jitsu guys beating everybody, and then you got these big monster wrestlers who learn how to not get submitted. Well, you can't beat those guys. How little I knew, because then people would learn how to make them stay on their feet, and then they knock them out, and then the game is this elevator. We have to be so good at everything. People will figure out their style at some point. They'll be able to stop a couple more takedowns. They'll be able to beat them on the feet. I figure it's just going to take some time to figure out that style and really they'll develop whole camps and game plans against that style. Once they do, it'll be beatable just like everything else is.
Yeah, great take. The first chink in their armor we've seen is Merab beating Umar. So that's the first one we've seen. So we didn't see Khabib lose. So we haven't seen Islam. If you could make one major change in combat sports to protect fighters or improve the game, what would it be?
To protect him, I would probably have to say you have to go with the weight cutting issue where you do some hydration testing or whatnot, like they kind of do in one. Try to make it. We're not going to cut his weight. I don't think the thing that people realize is what they're doing in their bodies. And I think a lot of people are going to find out in the future they're going to have. I mean, you might have a lot of fighters with like on dialysis because they're going to have kidney problems when they get older. You can't lose 40 pounds regularly. It's just not good for you, man. So I think we're going to find out that would probably help fighter safety a lot. As far as improving the sport, I think what I would like to do is go back to the old school. We talked about the pride rules. Pride rules. You made it to where it wasn't necessarily who won one round; it was the overall fight. But not only that, if you're not trying to finish the fight, I'm gonna give you this yellow card, and you're gonna lose 10% of your purse. Boom! No, I don't want to. I don't lose my money. So these guys are gonna actively try and finish people. You know what I mean? I mean, personally, I like it if you could knee somebody to the head on the ground or do something like that because you know what? They don't lay there and take knees to the head. They roll over and promote and get into a scramble and make somebody, and then you could submit them. You're not just going to sit there and eat 10 knees if you're any good. You might happen to once, you're like, oh, I got to move. So I think the more things you can do, like you could in Pride, the more that will promote action. And I want to see more action in a fight. And like I said, a good fighter's not going to lay there and take knees. They're just not going to do that.
Wearing a t-shirt that says never made.
I believe him. I think he's telling the truth.